Good evening. Today we are going to have a presentation to discuss whether Tesla should acquire General Motors. This is for the mergers and acquisitions class, and this is the last portion of the target valuation project. So initially during the class, what we ended up doing was doing some substantial research with both the target and acquire firms. And then we started to do some financial data research, trying to figure out whether the actual deal would be beneficial for either or for both of the two companies. Here we see that ultimately, as a conclusion of mine, if there is going to be great communication and good synergy between both companies, then I think that the merger or acquisition in this case will certainly help both companies. Now this is the traditional integration focus where you go into complete detail, but for today's purposes, we're going to focus on value capturing focus. And this is what's ultimately going to make this deal a success. By having transparent philosophy that focuses on revenue synergies, by establishing synergy targets, teams, and performance metrics, following a tiered approach to protect both existing values, but also while creating those values, and ultimately tracking the revenue, because we're not in this for the laughs, we're in this for the money. This is a graph that shows the discounted cash values. And as you can see here, these are the 10 years that we had in the pro forma. Ultimately, adding up to an equity value of $122.7 billion and an APV, or adjusted present value, of $118.6 billion. This is sort of to get us into the understanding of whether or not the firm is worth buying or acquiring. So this is ultimately what we want to do, and this is how we're going to actually make this or reach success: by overcoming obstacles, by communicating transparently along the way, by aligning our goals for performance, and by, although starting separate, ultimately coming together. With Tesla's vehicle functionality and autopilot and software, EV technology, and GM's factory positioning and delivery locations and warehouse storage, these two should be able to help each other out to create more delivery locations, more charging infrastructures, and ultimately an all-electric future. This is the ultimate goal, folks: better customer satisfaction. And we think we'll get there with this acquisition. This is a strategy framework that simply points out how Tesla has certain values or certain capabilities, and General Motors does as well. So both companies have great things, but with Tesla's know-how and processes, and with General Motors' infrastructure and market presence, when these two come together, they will be able to create an even bigger footprint. These are the expected synergies after the merger. So if everything goes well through the merger, then we'll be able to look at specifically how there's going to be better quality product in the main strategy of, obviously, vehicle selling and leasing. There's going to be savings within the warehouse rent, freight, warranty expense, and other overhead costs, improvement of autopilot and software features within the GM company, and within Tesla, there will be better positioning of factories, ultimately increasing the affordabilities for the vehicles of both companies, and focusing on an all-electric future. So when you think of an acquisition, you usually think of a big fish eating a smaller fish. I mean, when I did this research, I actually found out that obviously GM is thought to be the bigger fish, but because of Tesla's market capitalization, it is the bigger fish in this case. So nonetheless, this is not going to be a typical acquisition. This is going to be more of a team effort where both Tesla and GM are going to come together, and through the factory positioning and EV technology, they're going to find complementary technology and workforce and ultimately have happier customers. And here's how we got to the offer. We look at GM's capitalization, the reservation value from Tesla, and this is what we expect to get after the merger between the two companies. Here's the actual offer. 105 in total, 90 billion in stocks, and 15 billion cash. This should allow, this 14% right here should allow GM to cover a portion of their debt, I'd say about 25% of their debt, because they are obviously in a little bit of trouble in that department. So this is what the deal would be. And this is the, I guess, initial offer from Tesla over to GM. And if they were to go ahead and accept the offer, which I think is a great one, then you would have just take it on over to lawyers and accountants to do their due diligence and hopefully not find any problems within the merger. Even when we did the research with HHI, there was only about a 3% change, so there shouldn't be anything or any big obstacle to stopping the merger from going through. And if there are no other questions, that is all I have.